Hi, it's Lynn. I haven't done a video for just over a week and I'm really sorry. There's been a whole lot of stuff going on and it's been really crazy, really busy. I have also come to the realization over the last week or so that I have seriously undervalued sketchbooks. I've been watching a lot of artists on YouTube and their sketchbooks, like, they're prolific. And in my mind, I guess it's maybe because I never went to art school, and to me a sketchbook was just something you put in your bag and a couple of pencils, and if you had time when you were out and about, you sat down and you did some sketching. But no, these artists do it when they're in their studio. They make specific trips to coffee shops, to parks. They take their sketchbooks when they're on planes, trains, in hotels, on holidays, and they use paints and other mediums. They don't just use pencils. So that was a real eye-opener for me, and I realized how important the sketchbook is. Also, my sketchbooks have been visual diaries, and they have the spiral spine, which means that you basically just get the one piece of paper. With a proper bound sketchbook, you can just have an A5 sketchbook, but when you open it up, it's like an A4 size piece of paper. Then you can sketch, paint across both pages. I've just realized that I need to spend a lot more work doing that. As much as I love doing stuff on big canvases, in order to make sure that I do art every day, I need to have sketchbooks. Now I've dug out some that I've had, and I've done a little bit in here and a little bit in there, but they're basically just sketches. And there is one which I would say, look, is a proper drawing. But yes, it's been enlightening, really. So I'm really going to make the effort. Something that's happened in the last week is I found out that I'm going to Europe in a few weeks for a couple, 2.5, 3 weeks. So I'm going to, and I've got a 5-hour layover in Bangkok airport. So I'm going to take a sketchbook and something. I'll try and work out like a little palette of watercolors, and I'll figure something out and take some art supplies with me, so that I can do sketches, drawings, little paintings while I'm away. So that's going to be interesting and exciting, and yes, I'm looking forward to that. But I just wanted to quickly show you all I've got is the spiral visual diaries, and it's like, I don't know, every so often I've sat down and done something, but it's nothing. Considering there's probably 5 years since I started in the first one, nothing, really. So I'm quite disappointed with myself in that respect, because you can hone a lot of skills. And it's basic. It would be something basic you would learn at art school. And I think that's another reason why I've had the imposter syndrome. You'd read about people, oh, they've got to take their sketchbook everywhere and they've got to do this. It's like, I've never felt like that. If I've been out and about and I see something that I would like to draw or paint in the future, I'll take photos. Maybe that's just the easy way out. But it's quickest, and you usually capture everything fairly accurately, with the lighting and etc. So I will still continue to do that, because I don't always have the time. I rarely have the time to sit down in a public place and draw what I'm looking at. But it is something that I want to really make an effort. I would love to be able to do something in a visual diary or a sketchbook every day. I think I should use up my visual diaries before I go away, and then get a a new sketchbook, or maybe a small one and a big one, like an A5 and then maybe an A4. And if I'm in a more static situation, like staying somewhere, I can use the A4, which is in a large piece of paper. So I'm excited about that, and I'm also interested to see how I can develop my skills in like that respect to because I'm always sort of a bit, you know, hesitant to draw birds, animals, things like that. So that's something that you can obviously practice in a sketchbook as well. Just keep doing the same thing over, and it makes sense. It's just a way to practice things, and I don't know why I've not made more of a point of doing it in the past. As I said, I've sort of had moments where I've started and then life gets in the way and it just gets pushed to the back because it's not as important as everything else. But I have to make it more important. I have to make sure that I continue to do this so that my skills grow and develop the way I want them to. So I'll just give you a quick run through of what I've done over the years. Okay, sorry, it's a bit wonky. There we go. This was like just a little flower drawing I did from a real flower. There was just another go. See, this was my idea of sketching. And then I did some watercolour blobs and just some black ink. Some more doodling, basically. Just testing out. I think I was testing out some new art supplies with the colours. And then I just decided to doodle with black ink. Because I love doing that. And that's just some more sketches, like with some fruit and bowl. And I do love doing that with just a pencil and doing the shading. I think that's very effective. There was a bit of a practice thing there with a plant. It's very faint. A bit of plant in a pot. And then this was the finished product of the plant in the pot. I don't know why I did that on the back page. Maybe I just picked the book up the wrong way around. Who knows? But I was reasonably pleased with that one. This was, I remember, at the last house I lived in. That was some Canterbury bowls in the garden. So I went outside with the sketchbook and started doing that. That's just testing some more art supplies with the colours. This was, I did a sketch from a photograph. Some boats on a little jetty. What is this one? This one I did another plant in a pot with the, I think this was just watercolours and the black ink. And then with this one, I used the excess red paint from the pot, did some flowery blotches, and then came back into it with black ink pen. And this is actually currently my logo, this pattern there. And then just some more, just experimenting with watercolour and black ink pen, which is what it's all about. And then this was, I think this was using I've got Inktense pencils, but I've also got Inktense blocks, and that's what that was. Now this, I started the automatic writing, and I cannot remember who on YouTube showed it, like talked about it. Oh, she's English. I can't remember what her YouTube channel is called. She has the most beautiful journals. She hand makes her journals, her sketchbooks. But she writes. She just writes. Gets everything off her chest. And then she comes back and does beautiful portraits of young girls and fairies and things. I'm not that good. So I've just decided to do landscapes and trees and plants. And then you cover up the writing. Similar to the process I did with the big paintings, the flow paintings. And there's just some more. And then there's some more of the writing and then going over it with artwork. And there's just some more and some doodling. Yep, not terribly interesting. And there's just some more that I did. And that's just, I really was just in a doodly mood that day and didn't feel like anything particular. Now I had a go at this the other night, just sitting in front of the television. This was just from imagination. I would love to get a stock of things that I could use as still life, and then, you know, buy fruit and veg. And this was just one I did with some felt tip pens, just literally sitting in front of the television. I thought, I've got to do something, but I couldn't be bothered trying to do anything else. And this is something else that I've just done with the Inktense pencils. No, this was not the pencils, this was the blocks. And they're really good to use. They're kind of like using a crayon or a pastel. And that was another one that I did. It was supposed to be white flowers on the wallpaper behind, but it didn't quite come out terribly evenly. But yes, it's just nice to do something every day, and if I can just force myself to do that would be good. Now, something that I discovered when I pulled out this massive visual diary, which is too big really, especially if you're traveling or going places, is this. And I did this a few years ago, possibly when I was still living at the last place. Yes, this is from a photograph I took. Now, I'm pretty sure this was Venice. It was a little corner in Venice, or a town called Old Siena. Siena is a town in Tuscany, and when we were there, we went to the market in Siena, and then we found our way up the something bastion, and we're up on the top of this amazing place, and we looked out across the valley and we went, what's that? And we looked it up, and it was Old Siena. So we went there. This is my youngest daughter and her fiance, and we went over there and spent a few hours, and that was just stunning. So that I can't remember whether this photo, I'd have to go back through all my photos, but there's just so many places in like these old European towns where you just get the most amazing architecture and the colours and atmosphere. It's just beautiful. So anyway, I was quite impressed with myself with that. When I've got the time and the patience, I can do something reasonably decent. So I really have to just practice more and decide really what I want to do. Like, I don't know whether you'd call that a landscape because it's just a bit of buildings, but I do like doing interesting architecture, buildings. I like still life, and I like plants. I think now they call it botanicals, not plants and flowers. So I think I have to kind of really focus on what I'm really interested in and really just hone my skills, and things that I'm struggling with, like birds and animals and faces. Make a point of trying to do a schedule maybe, and then, you know, like every so many days, like maybe once a week, okay, well, I'm going to do birds, and then the next week I do animals, pick an animal, and then the next week do faces, to try and then in the meantime do the plants and the flowers and the buildings, still lifes, things like that. So it's been, as I said, it's interesting. Wake up call, I guess, epiphany, enlightenment, realization, all those things. And I guess that's just part of learning stuff, part of being open to learning, part of life and wanting to keep moving forward. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry I've gone on a bit too long for this video. I wanted it to be shorter. I really appreciate you watching, and I will be doing, I was trying to do 3 or 4 videos a week, and that's not worked out. I don't have time. So I'm going to try and do at least 2 videos a week. Sometimes it might just be a video. I do want to go back to, next Sunday is the market that I went to a few weeks ago. I want to go back there again because I want to talk to the people who get stalls undercover and what kind of bun fight it is to actually get the stall undercover, because I don't have the ability to get an annex up and lug around 20 kilo weights and all that kind of stuff to be an outside stall. So I need to be inside undercover. So I need to talk to the people who actually have those stalls. So the next video, no, it won't be the next one. The one after the next one might just be the little walk around the market, showing you the market. And then obviously while I'm away, I will show you photos, some videos, little quick videos of where I am and what I'm doing. So that will be interesting. I'm not sure if we're going to go to an old part of the country. They do have, like, every town has an old part. I just have no idea of the itinerary that they've got planned. This is my youngest, not my youngest daughter, my middle daughter and her husband. But I get to see my two youngest granddaughters, and I'm so excited. Give them cuddles. Yes. So now I've just got to find someone to house sit and look after my cats, which is another whole nother problem. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. If you would like to hit the like button, that would be fantastic. If you would like to subscribe to just see what I put up next, to watch me hopefully develop my skills and become an income earning artist, that would be fantastic. That's my goal. So I will let you go now. I'll stop this before it gets way too long, and I will catch you next time. Thank you.